Well guys, today we had another MP calling out the government's Ministry of Truth or Disinformation Unit, otherwise known as the 77th Brigade and its Rapid Response Unit. This government psychological warfare unit's meant to be used against foreign nations, but in March 2020 they decided spying on us was a better use of its time and your money.
The response unit was created in 2018 and disbanded in August 2022. It was formed as a central resource in the Government Communications Service that used publicly available information to improve government's ability to identify where certain narratives about our work were gaining traction online and to understand public sentiment towards government policies. With disbanding, the information collected was archived and will be retained in line with the Cabinet Office Information Retention Policy available online.
Yeah, it's yet more proof these clowns took Orwell's 1984 as an instruction manual and not the warning it should be, but you lot already know this. And I suppose for those who don't, if you called out the government for its lies since March 2020, then the chances are you pass through this unit's network, and that is especially true for anything relating to bat flu. In fact, if you got banned on any social media platform during that time for what they called misinfo, then the chances are this unit might have helped that happen. The online harms bill will ramp that sort of thing up, but this shows it was happening all along. Now, this MP, Christopher Chope, while good for calling it out, is not doing it because he cares about the public's privacy, but because they spied on him and other MPs. This even gets the Speaker interested in finding out what the government was doing relating to all this, but we'll get to that later. First, let's see the possibility they spied on him really piss off Christopher Chope, though maybe someone should tell him the public feel the same when it's done to us.
Christopher.
Mr. Speaker, but why has my honourable friend refused to admit, in answer to parliamentary questions, that the Rapid Response Unit collected and stored information on sitting MPs? And as my subject access request has now confirmed that I was one of those MPs, can he explain why the Rapid Response Unit was using taxpayers' money to snoop on me, and who authorised this and why? Can my right honourable friend assure me that all branches of the Ministry of Truth, as exposed in the Big Brother Watch report from January, have now been disbanded, and so we're no longer going to have government and taxpayer-funded activity discrediting MPs who hold the government to account? But in answer to the earlier point that was made, can my honourable friend or right honourable friend explain why, in answer to parliamentary question 148802, which requested information as to whether or not the government was monitoring MPs, no answer was forthcoming? If it was so innocent, why wasn't an answer forthcoming?
Yeah, he wants to know why they snooped on him and what minister authorised it, which I also want to know, and not because I care about him being spied on, but because the same person likely authorised it all. This, it seems, is the only time, though, you see MPs really care about anything, and that is when it affects them. Anyway, though, let's hear the response from the minister himself, because it's bloody comical.
So, my honourable friend is very welcome to come and have a meeting with me and officials in the Cabinet Office to discuss any concerns he has about the Rapid Response Unit. I have asked them this morning whether there were any monitoring emails that contained his name. I've been given assurances that there were not, but I am very happy for him to come into the department and talk through all of the possible implications. The truth is that the government has a number of media monitoring services which check what's going on. They monitor not just what MPs and peers say, but what journalists say, anything that's reported in the mainstream media. And as my honourable friend, his name has appeared in newspaper stories in connection with various stories, it's natural that it would be picked up by those monitoring services.
Now, you hear him in that say that there are no emails or any of this, not that there's no information like tweets or video footage of him calling out government lunacy. The wording was key there, I think. He didn't lie, he just narrowed the scope to questions about emails only, which obviously wasn't what Christopher Chope said. But what he said after that is also important because you heard about government media monitoring, which is not just the mainstream media like he claimed. This is also social media, but the politicians don't care about us, as you likely know, and the Speaker proved this when he says this after hearing that.
Can I say I do have concerns what's been mentioned. If there are dossiers on MPs, I think we do need to know. I could be very tempted if somebody was to put a UQ in to get to the bottom of it. So I do think it needs clarification. You know, a government department holding records on MPs, it may be fine, but it may not be. So I do have some great worries. Please.
As I said, Mr. Speaker, we have media monitoring units so that when people's names appear in the media, be they MPs or peers or people who are not members of this House, then they'll be recorded on those systems. There's nothing untoward about this, I can assure you.
Yeah, he cares about dossiers on MPs, but not the public who pay their bloody wages. That there shows who they truly serve, or should we say that they serve themselves. But the fact he offered a route for MPs to investigate likely made some arseholes in and around government pucker up tighter than a snare drum. Shit, it's possible dossiers on MPs are being destroyed as we speak following all this, but it shows just how bad Big Brother got during the past few years for any who still think differently.